Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for being here with us today. Our topic today will be towards simplifying Microsoft Teams hybrid telephony. And without any further ado, allow us to take it to the next level. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ganesan Chandran. I'm the CEO of Toshi, Malaysia. At Toshi, we are a digital communication distributor. We have our head office operated in Wisma Chase Perdana in Malaysia. And we also have a presence at the Digital World Center at Manchester. As a distributor, we have two verticals in our company. One of the vertical is very much towards the unified communication platform. And another one is towards the digital signage. We are a distributor with SI mentality. We make sure that we have got all stocks at most of the time. We have got pre and after sales support provided by our certified engineers. Our means of business is very much towards channel partners only. We hold stock at all times, and we do provide free delivery within Klang Valley. For those who are new today, coming into the webinar, if you have not registered yourself as a reseller, please do so by clicking into this particular QR code. From the perspective of unified communication system, we are distributors of soft switch from Porta 1, IPPBX, we have Sangoma, Hoodosoft, and Zyco. For call center, we have got Hoodosoft and Dial-Applet. Voice gateways, we have Sangoma, Denstar. Session border controller, Sangoma, Anynode. And for Microsoft Teams integration, we are here proudly together with Callroute, IP telephone system and intercoms. We have Fanville, IP paging solutions. We have Zyco and headsets with VBAT. From the digital signage perspective, which happens to be another vertical that we are majoring in, we are a professional display distributor of Philips, digital signage content management system of Any Signage and Avori, interactive signage CMS via 22 miles and Intuit Face, wayfinding CMS with 22 miles, video controller by using Userful and Vivid Wall, digital signage players, we are distributors of Giada and Weibo, accessories by Lumi, digital podium by Termas, and customer feedback management system by Press and Express. Dear friends, participants for the day, please enroll yourself to be our partner by logging into this particular page and see how we can explore our opportunities by working together. And I would like to hand over the rest of the presentation together with my colleague, who is Mr. Ali Hanchan, the CTO of Toshi. Towards to you, Mr. Ali.
All right, thank you, Ganeshan, and good afternoon, everyone. So today we are here to discuss and to find out the challenges when we are going toward the Microsoft Teams integration. So the major question is basically why the service provider and system integrators need to bother and look at this topic. I can see as part of our participant today, we have service providers which they have their own SIP service, even they have their own soft phone, mobile applications, everything, which they can cater the customer to fully utilize their own services. And also we have system integrators which they are comfortably doing the PBX and serving the customers with the on-prem setup or cloud PBXs. But looking at the statistic that published from Microsoft, it gives us some heads up why we need to look at this platform. So Microsoft, the growth in the market is enormous. So they have taken a good portion of the market over past few years, and the growth is still there. So they have huge number of active monthly users, and also the Microsoft phone system become a very popular and a kind of demanding in the enterprise market. So the companies taking advantage of having everything in one place. They have the Microsoft applications. They have their own video conferencing that comes together with Microsoft Teams and so on. And that is a great platform. Even if you are a service provider, most often you might have your smartphone application. But we have seen even big players, they have to concern about updating, catching with the updates released by Android or the iOS. So you have to catch up, you have to pay maintenance to smartphone application developers. But why not considering you're offering your services and open up the door to a huge market where people using Microsoft Teams and the user already have the Microsoft Teams application, and you can write on the Microsoft to deliver the calls to end user, and you just focus on your services. So with that, sounds interesting. Moving toward the cloud, Microsoft Teams itself, it's the perfect choice for many people, and so it very easy process basically. If the company is a new setup company. So if you just set up a company as a user, and then you can simply subscribe to service from Microsoft, you can get the phone number from Microsoft itself, and everything provided under the one hood. And it's easy to enroll, bring your users to Microsoft Teams. But this is most often not the case. We have seen many cases that is not that straightforward. The customer might have existing platforms, call centers, or special requirements, which is still not available on Microsoft Teams. There might be other part of telephony, like the user might have analog phones, intercoms, door access. So there are plenty of existing hardware which they are not certified by Microsoft. So how they're going to connect those services to Microsoft? So the challenges would be to find the right solution to marry the Microsoft Teams with the customer requirement and bring up all those complexity of deployment. The goal is the customer that to get connected and improve the communication, while we as SI or service provider might necessary to think ahead of time how we can tackle all those integrations which bring an all-in-one communication to the customer. So in the real environment, as I mentioned, if we have just a newly set up company, it's very straightforward. You can even get the calling plan from Microsoft, which provides the minimum connectivity to a telco, provide the DID number and a SIP trunk by Microsoft, which is also still depend on the locations. I think in Malaysia now, Microsoft can provide the Malaysian numbers, but the service might not be interesting for an enterprise company where they have the existing numbers. We know the fact that unfortunately we don't have number porting in Malaysia yet on the fixed lines. So this is a major challenge for all enterprise where they have the existing numbers or they're binded with existing contract. They must continue using the current service provider. And additional challenge would be that they might even have existing PBX, contact center, and all those telephony system in place, which is doesn't make sense to be left alone, and they need to utilize the existing telephony platform and then connect to the Microsoft Teams users which they are going to enroll. So luckily, the Microsoft provided the direct routing feature, which enable everyone to connect the third-party system to the Microsoft Teams. And there are some service providers which provide direct routing as a service. So one of the approach is that use that basically the SaaS model of direct routing, which is kind of certified SBC that enable integrating your existing PBX telephony system to Microsoft. So this will help partial part of problems because so if you have Microsoft Teams and your existing telephony PBX, by right, the user want to have an interconnection that they should be able to communicate between Microsoft Teams and the PBX side. So with direct routing, you have the opportunity to make that happen. But there's might be some limitation on those SaaS model of SBC that maybe number manipulation or call routing is not as flexible as you might need it for the project. So to address those challenges, the last option is that we allocate SBC, which is certified by Microsoft, and build our own direct routing between the Microsoft team and the rest of telephony system. So of course, this will solve the problem of connectivity. We can do as flexible as we wanted, so we can connect the call center, PBX, everything which is sitting on-prem or on other networks, link back to Microsoft Teams users. But the challenge might be a cost involved in this investment. Having your own SBC, first of all, required to have a budget to purchase the SBC, which is certified by Microsoft. There are also complexity of setup and connecting this SBC to Microsoft Teams. So it's most likely you will end up to pay to the vendor to do the configuration. And there are cases that so the long-term plan is to move everything to Microsoft Teams, and having SPC is just for a short term to facilitate the migration. So in those scenarios, we cannot justify the ROI because you have to spend budget and money for SPC, for configuration. And if it's just for a short period of time for this transition, then it's not justifiable. Of course, it will tackle all the requirement that you have full control, but again, that is requires some a good amount of investment to overcome this. So in the real life, so there are many challenges when we want to transition from the traditional PAPX or even IPPBX toward the Microsoft team. So in majority of cases, when the company is setting up a telephony system, so usually the lifespan of a phone system, it's maybe 10 to 15 years. But I have seen many cases that a phone system is running 20 plus years. So as part of this setting up an enterprise telephony, there are lots of planning involved, gathering the requirements, documentation, and upkeeping the system. So as the company keep using the phone system, of course, there are changes that they add to the phone system. They might add users, modify the call routing, adding new trunk or carrier service providers. So it will show that a dynamic environment of a telephony might left and overlook that the project document is not getting updated. And over the time, those key people that make a decision when setting up a phone system might even leave the company. So if we are giving a task to migrate an existing phone system to a cloud, the major challenge would be to gather the user requirement. It would be a long process to look back because there might be so many elements in the existing telephony system which really nobody knows that are they really necessary to maintain, because the easy way is that we say, right, we have Teams, we want to replicate all we have in the PBX into Microsoft Teams. But then that might be not a good approach because there might be some, extensions that you have created in your telephony system were no longer in use, or the call routing. So that is the major challenge that when we are giving a task to design a new phone system, especially on Microsoft Teams, where everything you want to assign a number requires a license. So those are challenges when we want to discuss that the planning is crucial and how we can minimize this task with the right planning. So what are the problems that associated with this kind of cloud migration? There are plenty of things that we need to look after, especially, of course, the most important part is budget of this migration process. But then there are tons of other factors that we need to look. Is the company need the call recording as part of compliance? the next big question is, of course, they're willing to maintain their numbers. So that's, I think, until we get the regulation in Malaysia for number porting, there is no answer to this question. And by right, all the enterprise customer, they wanted to maintain their existing numbers. And so how we can help the business or enterprise to overcome these problems? They have existing contract with telco. They are binded with 2 or 3 years contract, and they are not willing to have a parallel solution which add to the cost and increase the required budget. How we can facilitate to migrate users from PBX to Microsoft Teams with minimum pain, and maintaining the new system, they have to understand how it works and so on. So there are plenty of approach and solutions in the market, but as an expert, we have seen that each of those solutions address a specific problem in this process. So we also, as a distributor, always were looking for an answer, how to find a platform that can facilitate and overcome all the nightmare associated with this kind of migration. So to answer that question, we were keep looking to find a platform that could help us keeping all this connectivity under one hood, because I personally use SBC, especially any node SBC, for such kind of projects, and I know that when you're going such approach to do a direct routing, there are a crazy process, a complex approach that you need to move step by step to connecting the hardware, adding the gateway, making up in the Microsoft Teams, using PowerShell or scripting to do all sort of necessary adjustment in order to make it happen. So we were looking for a platform that can have all these benefits of Microsoft Teams and also allow us to have a smooth journey toward the integration. And so to answer that, luckily we found that Callroute is the perfect choice that we can introduce to our partners, and it will help everyone to have an easy life when hearing Microsoft Team integration. Many of our SI and partner, as soon as they get the inquiry of integration, they were hesitate to participate because all the challenges involved in the integration was there. Even for us was time consuming. But with the Callroute, that's not the case, which give us everything needed under one hood. So with the Callroute, which is sitting in between of almost everything as a core call distribution engine, you can connect your existing PBX. So we have templates for some of well-known PBX like Avaya, Cisco, Mitel, and even as part of our general practice, we have done intensive testing. We connected free PBX, PBXact, those platforms that we are distributing. We have connected successfully to Callroute with just few clicks. And as part of our service provider partners, so what we do is there are some built-in telco, which is now mostly for UK market. We have done one telco onboarding from Malaysia as well. So what we are doing for service providers, those that they have ASP service license and offering their own SIP service, DID numbers. So we are working with them to bring up their service to Callroute. We will template the configuration, which again simplify the whole process. When you are doing an onboarding a new customer, even you don't need to go and set your soft switch IP codec and those technical details. Everything we do in one template, and then you can simply add new users and bring to this platform by simply adding the authentication, whether it's username, password, or IP authentication, depend on your platform. So we can add your service as part of auto provisioning into the Callroute. From other hand, of course, the Microsoft Teams is the major purpose, but the Zoom phone system, Google, WebEx, there are upcoming, big players in the UCaaS market, which we also implemented. So you can connect all this and do the interconnectivity between Microsoft Teams, your PABX, and even your contact center. So having the Callroute at the core of this connectivity will provide you a single platform where you have your own carrier, your telco is there. You don't need to get a new service from anybody. You can connect to your on-prem PBX, which not necessary to be a Microsoft Teams certified, as far as is a SIP compliant platform that we can hook up to this application. And it provides you almost everything that you need from this cloud-based interconnection application. So let's see how it works and what are the scenarios that we can utilize the Callroute as part of your projects. So considering this scenario as a kind of day-to-day or maybe an initial stage of Microsoft Teams integration, where the customer have the existing PABX telephony system and they just want to try adding some Microsoft Teams users. So with that approach, having a Callroute in place, again sitting at the core of this connectivity, we can simply link to Microsoft Teams. Thanks to the Callroute engine and deep integration with Microsoft, we don't need to have any knowledge of Microsoft scripting and using the PowerShell. So onboarding from Microsoft Teams to the Callroute just requires admin access to the Microsoft Teams and authenticate. The rest of things handled by Callroute. It will synchronize, list all the users that have the required licenses in the Microsoft side. And from other hand, you can simply do a SIP trunk and connect to your existing telephony system. So either you have an existing SPC, which is not certified for Microsoft, or if your PBX support the SIP trunking, you can simply hook that to Callroute, and you have a very smooth process to do a trial experience of connecting Microsoft Teams to telephony system. So there is no huge investment involved. You can subscribe to Callroute. So we offer as a month-to-month or annual basis. So the risk is minimized for the user, for the customer to experience the Microsoft telephony service together with their own existing platform. So the other scenario could be that after the customer experience the initial stage, so they might have some other platforms as like a call center or other branches which is still they want to interconnect, bring to Microsoft Teams. And there might be a stage that the customer feel that Microsoft Teams can fulfill all the requirements and they are preparing to migrate all users from the existing PBX toward the Microsoft Teams. So with that, again, the Callroute is sitting there in between. It provides the interconnection between your call center and Microsoft Teams. Since the call routing is flexible, you can have transferring the call from the contact center to Microsoft Teams and vice versa. So you have a two-way communication that connects the users from the call center to Microsoft Teams. And down the road, when the customer decided to go one step further, so they can have users to be migrated to Microsoft Teams with minimum impact. Because the connection is there, they just need to add the number of channels, subscriber, and bring all the PBX users to the Microsoft Teams. So again, they are utilizing the existing contract, the telco that they have in place. Everything is under control, the call routing, everything is there, and the customer will not face any disruption in this process. So another case could be that they want to optimize and automate the provisioning of Microsoft Teams users. Thanks again to Callroute functionality, everything is automated. From the Microsoft, there are cases that the customer does not have budget to get Microsoft certified IP phones or endpoints. So that is one of the aspects that Callroute facilitates again, since we can sit in between and support and link any non-certified devices to Microsoft Teams. So we are doing all the exchange, call routing, and make sure that each party can benefit from the advantages of this integration. And that process is kind of zero touch. When you do an onboarding the users to Microsoft Teams, simply you just do with few clicks, assign the numbers, the ID, and then they can use the service within few minutes. So that is the major advantage of having a very quick process for onboarding the customer to Microsoft Teams. So as the whole picture where the customer might expand and use in larger deployment environment. So this gives you the full idea that how the call route is scalable. Even if, let's say, a company acquire another company or they have multiple tenants in Microsoft Teams environment. So all these things can be onboarded to same platform and then they can have an on-net call between the PBX branches, analog devices. So we have WebEx, Zoom phone system, which we can see slowly also show a popularity in the market. So all these things can be connected to same platform that all these users have easy communication among each other. Right, and also Microsoft introduced the survivability appliances, which is again uh, for critical customers that they want to have a peace of mind. It is supported by Callroute, so we can have uh, the team's survivability appliances to be linked as part of the telephony environment. And with that picture, there is almost no scenario that left out. So we can fulfill the telephony requirements of any customer to be fulfilled using the call route and to be integrated as one platform. Right. So as for presence of Callroute, so the company behind is based in UK, which we are representing for Malaysia market. So currently there are multiple locations around the globe, and also there are upcoming locations in Singapore. But we have active cases that, although using the Europe node, there is no issue as the connectivity is on tier 1 data centers, but the presence would be there pretty much soon in our region as well, which makes sure that it's maximize the accessibility for us, that we can connect the customer to nearest data center to utilize the power of call routes. So that was everything about call route. To be honest, this is the most simplest platform, and maybe with that presentation, we just do a quick demo on how this call route is working. So this is the, I just would like to ask participant, please, if you have any question, put in the chat area. So we try to get back at the end of this session for any question that you might have. Right, so this is the call route dashboard, which is really a simplified dashboard. You can see that it's clean design, and it's purposely do the job to the finest, and doesn't it distract you with any fancy or additional options or menus. So let me just also bring up my Microsoft Teams. So this is my Microsoft Teams. As you can see, I don't have the telephony license enabled yet. So we just do a walkthrough and see how quickly we can enable the telephony for a user using the call route. So we just start the process with adding a new service. Later we come back and discuss about SIP drawing. So now what we are going to do is we can connect any of those service provider to this platform. But for this demonstration, we are going to connect a Microsoft Team. So starting the process is just authorizing the call routes to access the account for Microsoft Team because of the deep integration required. So first thing is authorize the application to gain access to my account. So now the authorization done, the Callroute will do a scan of the requirements. So we must have user license with phone license, everything in place. And we just need to have one extra license for Callroute to fulfill the integration. That license can be taken out maybe one day after the integration done. So everything is checked, healthy, and then we can go ahead with completing the integration with the Callroute. So once again, it's require our permission to access the Microsoft Team tenant information. So once that granted, it might take few minutes until the Callroute finish the collecting data and integrating the core with Microsoft Teams. So meanwhile, this is going on, maybe, or I don't think usually it's take less than 3 minutes, but you can also look at this step-by-step video as we have experience with it, with basic knowledge of IT. Your team should be able to handle the integration with the using of Callroute to Microsoft Teams. So it's really a simplified process. So as you can see, integration done, and now the platform collected all the users under my account. So I have 3 users. These are other users which we use in Microsoft Team for IVR or queue. So for the sake of this, what we want to do is I also have some phone numbers from our service provider, which already imported to the platform. And the next process is that I want to assign these numbers to my Microsoft Team user. So I take this, I select my user, and then assign simply. I have an option to assign a secondary destination as well. So in case there is something happen that the connectivity to Microsoft has been broken, so the call can be connected to a secondary destination. So I can forward to a mobile number or zip trunk back to my office. So let's just go ahead and assign the number to my user in the Microsoft team. And then with that, if we come back to Microsoft Teams and check here, so the configuration is happening. And to have this apply on the account, I think the best way is to exit the application and then run back again. So I've seen this. Sorry, I think I have played a funny. Right, so my connection was dropped. So now the provisioning has been done, and then what we have here is under the Microsoft Teams. Right. So the telephony part, just give me a moment. So now I have the phone, as you can see here. The phone is shown and the number has been provisioned. So as you can see, the whole process, it doesn't take even 10 minutes. So now I can do an inbound call test to this number, and we see if we can get the call in the Microsoft Teams. Right. So I think let me check. So there might be some glitch in my phone, but anyway, the number has been provisioned. The user has now the access to call to outside as well. All right. Sorry, I think there was some interruption on the connectivity of my side. So as we can see, the provisioning process was really a simple task. I hope now everyone can see my screen. So the user has been assigned with the numbers, and so the phone has been provisioned. So this is the phone number assigned as we did. So you can have the numbers from your service provider to add it to the platform. So that is one of the things we would like to highlight. So if you are a service provider, what we are doing is that we providing one-time service that we add your company template into this platform. So let's say you want to have a service from BT or others. So these are mostly for UK market. But then for Malaysia market, we have one service provider which is already on board. So with that, the process would be a very simple process. You will get your service templated into dashboard, and any new service, any customer you want to do onboarding, you just need to add your credential into the platform. So the Callroute also provide the reporting. So this platform give you a detailed reporting of inbound, outbound calls, destinations, even the call recording. Those calls that pass through the SIP trunk and PSTN will be able to be recorded on Callroute. So this is helpful for the case of compliance requirements, if you need to have the call recording in place. In terms of services. So you can have, again, we template the PBX, but the generic PBX you can add via a straightforward process. So you just need to have the IP of your PBX, what is the protocol, and so on, and simply you can do the integration. So that is where we have done the integration with my PBX in the office. So this is allow the Microsoft Team user to call our Office extension without any issue. So it's provide an on-net call between the PBX side. They can call to Microsoft Team users and vice versa. So again, this is provide you a core integration platform, which the whole process and the pain of having Microsoft Team integrated with service provider or PBX, it's taken off the shoulder from the SIs and service providers that doing everything under the scene because it has been deeply integrated with the Microsoft. So with that, I think that is everything we would like to cover about the Microsoft Team integration with Callroute. So if there is any questions from the participants, please put in the chat where we can discuss and then we see how we can help you. But anyway, you have our contacts from sales, or you can reach out to me or Ganeshan for any specific requirements that you might have. Any questions or any inquiry? If not, we just wait for a few minutes. Otherwise, right? Yes, sure. We can provide the slides, and hopefully, if recording of webinar goes well, so you will get an email for both recording and handout of the webinar. Right. So I guess that is it. If there is no question, please reach us to our email or reach to your account manager if you have any inquiry or requirements about Microsoft Team integration. We would be happy to assist and facilitate to our service provider partners. If you are interested to make your service to be templated in Callroute, again, please reach us. We are very happy to provide this integration so you can offer your service much quicker to the new subscriber and bring them on board. So with that, I wish everyone a good evening and hope to see you soon on next webinars. Thank you.